Let me start with what we've heard from the Iranian Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Seyed Khamenei. He just moments ago he had a new statement. It says that we pledge to avenge the blood of the martyred leader and all martyrs of these two wars from the criminals. These criminals will bury their desire for a peaceful death in their bed. Here, many people are arguing that Iran is trying to assassinate Donald Trump. Even Donald Trump himself came out with a tweet saying that 1,000 missiles are already locked and loaded to be and aimed at the Islamic Republic of Iran, with thousands more to immediately follow. This is the atmosphere. When it comes to Donald Trump, and when it comes to the revenge, and we know the people in Iran were so much, they're angry. You see the flags in the funeral procession, and the people don't want, they want to fight back. They want to seek something. What is that thing? Is that the way that they're, because when you translate Persian to English, there has to be some sort, in my opinion, some sort of misunderstanding. What is that? What is the meaning of the new statement of the Supreme Leader of Iran?
Well, first of all, as we've been discussing together before the show, for us in Islam and in particular Shia Islam, justice is very important. It is key. And that is really the context in which uh, resistance to the oppressor and support for the oppressed and the disenfranchised, that's where it comes from. So when Iran supports Cuba or it supports Nicaragua or Venezuela or South Africa under apartheid, the resistance there, or when it supports the Palestinian cause, uh, it is based on that sense of justice, and that justice is not something that you can compromise. You're both uh, locally and internationally, uh, at the local level, at the international level, it's ideological, and so there's no way you can shy away from this concept. Uh, Therefore, for the Iranians, Trump is obviously a war criminal, and so is Netanyahu, and so is his entire entourage, and so is the Israeli regime from top to bottom. These people have carried out crimes against humanity, whether it's the person who pressed the button to slaughter the 168 little kids in Minab, or whether it was the officer who coordinated the strikes, and or whether it was the political leadership that made the decision. They're all war criminals, just like the Nazis. They're no different than the Nazis. And to be very blunt, uh, Western diplomats, they are like Nazi diplomats. I'm using the Nazi because it's just one example. I could say Saddam Hussein's diplomats. I mean, the tyrants throughout history. But the worst of the tyrants are really in North America and of course occupied Palestine, because during the height of the genocide, and the genocide is ongoing. Every day they're killing Palestinians and they're killing kids every single day as we speak. But the genocide today is unique because it is taking place in front of our eyes. They are bragging about it in among themselves, and the Western journalists are hiding it from us, or they've been justifying it, or they've been apologists for the genocide for almost 3 years now. So diplomats, they're like Nazi diplomats. Western diplomats, any embassy, in my opinion, you see anywhere in the world, those diplomats inside, whether they're Norwegian or they're uh, German or British or Canadian or Australian, they're Nazis. They're Nazi diplomats. Again, some people, I'm not going to focus. I don't mean, I'm just giving the Nazis, and you can say Saddam Hussein's diplomats. You can say Zionist diplomats. You can use any historical um, example that's similar, that's carried out genocide. So Western journalists, they're like German Nazi journalists. Now, again, I'm not saying that British journalists in the empire were any better than the Nazis. The British Empire did to the non-white world what the Germans did to the white, did to Europe. The starvation in India. Uh, Churchill used chemical weapons in Iraq. So, I mean, the reason why Churchill is seen as the good guy and Hitler the bad guy is because the crimes committed by Hitler were to white people, and for Churchill it was to brown. I mean, go and see what Churchill said about Indians, the racist language, and of course the results of that sort of mentality was clear. Go ask any Indian who knows a thing or two about their history. And I mean, when I mean India, I mean the Indian subcontinent, the entire subcontinent. It's not simply the country. So for the Iranians, there has to be justice. So for all American leaders and the Israeli leaders and those who supported them, the Nuremberg trials are essential. So that's clear as day. Now, some may say, well, they may not be able to set up such trials. In any case, that's another issue altogether. The point is that this is about justice, and that these people have slaughtered, they've carried out 2 unprovoked wars. The Western media has tried to justify it, and Iran is not going to allow the United States or its allies to get away with it. So they're saying that these people must be punished for their actions. So now the Iranian state has not been assigned to do anything in particular, but that is the mentality across the country. We've seen in Mashhad, in Tehran, and Qom, and in Iraq, and Karbala, and Najaf, the slogans were clear. So it's not bloodlust, or it's not just rage, not at all. In fact, I think by now many people criticize Iran for being too patient, and which I don't agree with. But the Iranians are very patient when it comes to dealing with their adversaries. So this has nothing to do with bloodlust. This has to do with justice, and it is a deterrence to make sure that this sort of thing does not happen again in the future. We live in a world where the West, for centuries, has gone out and destroyed country after country, and of course the U.S. empire more recently, in particular. And they slaughter, they destroy, they crush country after country, and then they walk away and they continue with their lives. And the people in the global South, they have to live with the destruction for generations. So the Iranians are saying, no, we're not going to accept that.